So it is a busy week of recording for me because I've got a lot of independent wrestling that I'm going to be watching and reviewing this weekend. And I got back from Wolverhampton last night, probably about 12:30. I've probably had about 6 hours sleep, so there's a good chance that this video could go off the rails, but we are going to power through for the love of British wrestling. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about RevPro Wrestling, RevPro's Summer Sizzler event, the big event that took place at the hangar in Wolverhampton, featuring Mercedes Mone, Naito, Trent 7, Bushi, TK Cooper, Saphire Reed, a lot of big names on this show, and a huge amount of great wrestling. There was a lot of great wrestling on this show to enjoy, and I have some thoughts that I am going to dive into. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like the video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to apply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with a little bit of my relationship sort of with RevPro, because I am what you may call a filthy casual. I don't keep up on the reg with RevPro because there's so much wrestling out there that you have to kind of pick and choose, and RevPro is the Brit Wrestling promotion that I don't fully keep up on. For keeping up on RevPro, I highly suggest you check out the This Is The Revolution podcast, which is available on YouTube. I think it's available on Spotify. I'll link the YouTube channel Cromulent Wrestling in the video description down below because they cover RevPro way better than I do, burying myself right there. But I went to the show live because they'd announced Beast Morttos, Mercedes Mone, Grizzled Young Vets, a lot of cool names to be on this show. And from what I can see from sort of the reaction to this show, it hasn't necessarily gone down the best with hardcore RevPro fans. I think they are a little bit dissatisfied with the direction of RevPro and some of the stuff that's happening, whereas I feel like, from what I've seen of RevPro, from the anniversary show that I went to, this felt more, how do I describe it? I sometimes feel like RevPro can just be great wrestling. I thought there was a lot of cool story choices here, particularly in the world title scene, that I really enjoyed. I really, really enjoyed that change and the match itself. I thought there were some excellent matches on here, some great twists, some great turns, and yeah, overall I just had an absolute blast at Summer Sizzler. I thought it was really, really fun. Now, we're going to dive into every match, every angle, everything that happened on the show. As I was there live, I don't have any notes, so I'm free-falling this off my noggin, off my head, that I woke up about 20 minutes ago. So we'll see how this goes. We will see how this goes, but let's dive into the first match, which was Sha Samuels taking on Jay Joshua. I thought this match was class. I thought this match was really, really good and set the show off to a really hot start with just both guys. I will say this as a bit of a negative towards the show. I feel like a bit of the dynamics were weird in terms of who was the heel and who was the face. Maybe it's because people are not enthused with the booking necessarily of the way RevPro's going, so they're kind of split on who they think the good bad guy should be. This one, for instance, seemingly setting up Jay Joshua as the bad guy because in the video package he jumped Sha Samuels, but in the match he was getting distracted by the protege that Sha Samuels had on the outside, and Sha Samuels was getting a little bit booed, so it was a little bit of a odd dynamic here, but the in-ring action was class. It was hard hitting, it was fast paced, it was absolutely terrific. You had some really cool bits in there, like Jay Joshua getting exploded suplex right into the guardrail. You had just hard strike exchanges from both guys. They were not giving up, and then some of the speed that Jay Joshua puts in is insane, where he was just dropping Sha Samuels, hitting his tope over the top rope, tope senton. It was really, really good stuff. Then you had Sha Samuels picking up the win. He hit a sick looking Canadian Destroyer on Jay Joshua and picked up the win. I was a bit sad. I know that Sha Samuels has got the title match at the anniversary show, but I would have loved to have seen Jay Joshua win because I think Jay Joshua is just class But this match was awesome. This was a really, really hot start to the show. Next up, we had a very fun match in Great British Tag League as close personal friends Danny Black and Joe Lando took on the Sons of Southampton, Dave Francisco and JJ Gale. JJ Gale is class. He's so good, like unbelievably good and just insane. When I was watching, because I think I've only seen one match of his, when I was watching him I was like, why is this guy not in the world title picture? Why is he not the British Undisputed Heavyweight Champion right now? Because he was insane. And that is no slant on close personal friends or Dave Francisco either. He was just so good. He was the standout of this match for me because he was just like taking out everyone. He was so good. And I like the dynamic that he has with David Francisco as well, where the story of this match was kind of like David Francisco was cheating a little bit. He was being a bit more underhanded, a bit more ruthless, and JJ Gale doesn't really want to do that. He was giving him side glances, a bit of that bombastic side eye to sort of, fuel the tension there. And close personal friends, I've loved close personal friends for a long time. They were class. This was just such a fun match. You got such a cool offense and fast-paced action here. Probably the highlight of this, just the handspring sort of cutter that Joe Lando does is really, really cool. And there's a great sequence towards the end where everyone's just getting dropped and he hits that handspring cutter. It was amazing. Really cool stuff. And yeah, close personal friends picked up the win here, getting, I think, 2 points in the Great British Tag League. So they are the current Trios Grand Prix winners as well. They have beat the Sons of Southampton. I think it could be theirs to win, close personal friends, and then you could get close personal friends versus the Young Guns at the anniversary show. Yeah, I had no issues with this match whatsoever. I think this was just really, really fun. Great tag team wrestling. And I think if I'm going to give mega props to RevPro, I think they do tag team wrestling just probably the best in the UK. I really think they do. They really put a lot of time and care into tag team wrestling. And I appreciate that with Great British Tag League. So yeah, this was a really fun tag match. Next up, we got one of my favourite matches of the night, which was Trent Seven taking on TK Cooper in a grudge match. Now, Trent Seven, I'm going to make the argument for Wrestler of the Year. I think he deserves to be on the list. He's had some incredible matches this year. Cara Noir, Mark Haskins, and now he's added another one to the list of TK Cooper. TK Cooper of Sunshine Machine, who is a bad guy in RevPro, which is weird because I'm so used to seeing good guy Sunshine Machine. But they went out there and they had a killer match. I just think the way that Trent Seven seemingly puts together matches have very cool, simple stories. Here it was his hand. His hand was getting worked over after he chopped the ring post, and TK Cooper was taking advantage of that. It worked so well, and just some of the sequences later on when they got into just a chopping war, and then TK Cooper hits the lariat, the ripcord lariat on Trent, the 7-star lariat, and Trent kicks out of one. That was so cool. You had the Emerald Flosion from the top rope as well. That was awesome. And yeah, Trent Seven picked up the win here. He picked up the win over the Headbutt Messiah. And following this, TK Cooper starts beating down Trent Seven. He's just wailing on him. And out comes Chuck Mambo. Chuck Mambo gets in the face of TK Cooper. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Slap from TK Cooper. Slaps his partner across the face. And then it looks like Chuck Mambo's going to hit TK Cooper with a chair. But who should he hit instead? Trent Seven. He clocks Trent Seven right in the face. They pulmonize his arm, send him to the back, send him running. Yeah, heel Sunshine Machine is definitely a choice, and I think that is going to be something very interesting going forward. I don't know how this is going to impact, other aspects of British wrestling, but I think the heel turn, a heel Sunshine Machine, is something I can't even fathom what that would look like. But I'm very here for it. I thought it was a really cool turn. And yeah, one of the angles on the show that made me want to tune in more and see where this goes, because I don't think they're not in Great British Tag League, so they can't have a match against the tag champs at the anniversary show. But yeah, I'm here for this. I'm absolutely here for this. It looks really cool. I mean, I'm in British Tag League. I'll check that. I'll fact check that. But yeah, I love this match. Trent Seven, one of the best wrestlers of the year. TK Cooper, no slouch either. This is one I'd recommend going out your way to see. Next up in Great British Tag League, we had the Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson, taking on the Young Guns, Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen. This match I was so hyped for because I love both of these teams with all my heart, and I had no idea who was going to pick up the win here. I had a feeling that maybe Grizzled Young Vets would win to sort of defeat the champions in Tag League, and then that can spin off into future stories. But yeah, I was correct. And this was following a great match, a really great match where the Young Guns just isolated James Drake, isolated him from Zach Gibson and prevented him from making tag. And then Zach Gibson would make the hot tag, he'd run in, and then we got great stare downs and great showdowns between Luke Jacobs and Zach Gibson. That is a singles match that I did not know I wanted until this point, and I was like, yes, give it to me. And this was just awesome. You've got the Young Guns and Grizzled Young Vets in the same ring. Of course it's going to be awesome, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It was sensational. It was really damn good wrestling, and I was a big fan of the majority of it. You got some great hope spots, some great near falls in there with it looked like Young Guns nearly picking up the win. But then you had the, I think they call it the ticket, did they call it the ticket to Rye? I think they call it the ticket to Rye, the sort of gut buster after they've got Ethan Allen isolated from Luke Jacobs. Luke Jacobs is on the outside of the ring, and the Grizzled Young Vets picked up the win. Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. This was such a fun tag match. And then points-wise, the Grizzled Young Vets have more points. I think they might be tied with the Young Guns for wins. So, yeah, it's very interesting to see where this goes. I'm hoping, potentially, because there was an angle afterwards where it looked like the GYV were going to shake hands with Young Guns, and Young Guns went out of the ring, a bit pissed off that they lost. They went to shake the hands. They didn't shake the hands of the GYV. So I think we could potentially get a very interesting story here down the road and maybe build to... I'd love to see like a 2 out of 3 falls match between these two. I think that would be a really good step. Yeah, I had a blast. Really, really fun. And that capped off the first half of the show. Then we had the Beast Morttos versus Robbie X. Now, when this was announced, I was like, okay, that is a hell of a match to announce. And I was here for it. And it was class. Of course it was going to be class. It was Beast Morttos versus Robbie X. I mean, what else would you expect? This was so fun, so fast-paced. They got straight into the action, flipping all over the place, handspringing out of headlocks and stuff like that. Then just escalated. Robbie X hitting his big topes from the top rope, hitting a top rope dive, like a top rope, what's it called? Sunset? No. Sky Twister. Hitting a massive Sky Twister from the top rope onto Morttos. And then Morttos he's just in there hitting a sick headbutt and 6 strikes on Robbie X. He hit a sick headbutt that echoed around the hangar, like it sounded brutal. And then they're just in there. Robbie X hits this like backflip DDT on Morttos, which looked amazing. And when I say that, he was on the top rope, springboarded off, hit a sick DDT. It just looked so cool. It looked so cool the way he executed it. And Beast Morttos picked up the win after interference that cost Robbie X, seemingly from the... I'll put the name of the guy above my face because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't quite sure who it was that was interfering, but I'll put the name of the guy across my face of who got involved. He got distracted. Beast Morttos hit a second spear. He'd already hit a spear in the middle of the match and just, took out Robbie X, and Beast Morttos picks up the win and celebrates. I thought it was really cool. Really cool to see Beast Morttos live, and really cool to see Robbie X live as well. I'm a big fan of both. This was really, really fun. Just, I have no other words. Really fun, flippy, really fun flips. What else can you say? Then we had a big tag team match as True and Lacey took on Los Tranquilos de Japan, Bushi and Tetsuya Naito. This was fun. True and Lacey had just great heels, and them getting in the face and mocking Naito was really, really fun. This was everything that it needed to be. This was just a special showcase match for Bushi and Naito, and it hit every spot that I wanted it to do. You had Naito just getting involved. His knees, man. I hope he's okay, because his knees, dear God. But he was just doing Naito things, He wasn't doing too much wrestling, too much big moves, but he was doing enough to sort of get the fans engaged, get the fans riled up for Naito, and Bushi also being really good as well in there with True and Lacey. And then it ended when Naito hit his finish, beautiful stuff, perfect, and then he does the sort of Tranquilo pose in the middle of the ring, it was everything it needed to be. Everything it needed to be. It wasn't too long, didn't take too much time away. It was a special showcase match, though I got to see two huge New Japan stars in the ring, and I'm just happy that I was able to see Naito, like, potentially before, I don't know when he's going to retire, but potentially before he retires, I got to see Naito live. And that's kind of one of the things that has hit me, is that some of these legends that I have got to see live, like Marufuji, like Keno, like now Naito, now soon Tanahashi at Forbidden Door, there's kind of just like this chill that you get when you've seen such legends, particularly Japanese legends as well, who I've followed for a long time. Just seeing them live is so cool. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I just had a blast with this. This was a fun showcase match, not too much to write home about, but it did exactly what I needed it to do. Then we have the most polarising match of the night for the RevPro Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship, as Ricky Knight Jr. took on Michael Oku. I think that this match probably had the most story going into any match on the show. They had a great video package beforehand hyping it, and this match was awesome. This was class. I really, really love this match so much. I am a big Ricky Knight Jr. fan. Ricky Knight Jr. has had some of my favourite matches, particularly his Super Strong Style final against Luke Jacobs. I thought is absolutely sensational. And him in there with Michael Oku, I thought they told a really good story as well, sort of playing off what had happened in the video package, the previous matches that they've had, with Michael Oku being a lot of the aggressor. He ran straight for Ricky Knight Jr. and Ricky Knight Jr. was kind of slowing the pace down, but you had a fired up, aggressive Michael Oku, and that ultimately played into how the match ended. But you had some really cool stuff leading up to that. Both guys got busted open. Michael Oku from a DDT on the floor, and then Ricky Knight Jr. from a like corner dive DDT on the floor. So both guys were busted open. You had a mirror getting involved. It looks like Ricky Knight Jr. just throws her into a barricade at one point. Then it looks like he's going to pick up the win off the Ricky Knight Jr. sort of driver that he does. And she pulls the ref out to a massive reaction. Everyone went nuts. And then Ricky Knight Jr. goes after her, gets her in the ring. It looks like he's going to hit a driver on her as well. But then Michael Oku gets involved. Michael Oku accidentally super kicks a mirror in the corner. There was just a lot of drama that they managed to build up in this match, leading to the near falls. You didn't really get much of the half crab here. There was sort of one bit where he locked in the half crab, but it wasn't something that was sort of overused or anything like that. He locked in the half crab for a very good near fall. You had some more near falls where Michael Oku hit two frog splashes, one from one corner, went to the other one, hit one from another corner, and then it looks like he's about to lock in the half crab, but then he doesn't. He picks up Michael Oku and looks like he's going to hit the sit out Rikishi driver on Michael Oku, but then Michael Oku counters it, hits one, hits another, gets Michael Oku on the second rope, hits a Rikishi driver from the second rope. 1, 2, 3. Ricky Knight Jr. advances to the anniversary show as Undisputed British Heavyweight Champion. I think there was a lot of reaction here. A lot of people were sort of shocked. I think so many people here thought that Michael Oku was picking up the win here. But no. Ricky Knight Jr. is the Undisputed British Heavyweight Champion. I like it. I think his match with Shaw Samuels could be really good. I get why people, from what people have said to me and how it's been explained to me, I get why people would be annoyed by that. But as a massive Ricky Knight Jr. fan, I think he's really good in the ring. I'm really happy about this. I think it's really, really cool. And maybe Michael Oku's like taking some time off, because they did a big bit where he was like escorted out, he was being checked on by the medical team. Maybe he's taking some time off. Maybe he's going to do some Ring of Honor or AEW stuff. Yeah, I'm here for this. I'm here for Ricky Knight Jr.'s champ. So, yeah, I might be in the minority, but like I said, I'm a filthy casual. Probably my favourite match of the show. This is probably my favourite match of the show. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then we had the main event for the Undisputed British Women's title. Mercedes Mone defending against Saphire Reed. Seeing Mercedes Mone live is something else. It's, again, one of them things where it's like, I can't really believe this is happening. Like, I've seen her live at Wembley Stadium, but it's different seeing her in a smaller venue like this. And they had a really good match. They had a really damn good match here. They had the Cutthroat Collective come out, accompanying Saphire Reed, and then she sends them to the back. They want this to be a one-on-one match. And it was a one-on-one match. And you had Mercedes Mone being a bit cocky, doing the dance and everything like that, doing the dance, showing off and all that, and Saphire Reed just sort of taking none of the bullshit and just taking her down again and again and again. And you kind of had Mercedes Mone. It was even. It was an even match. You had Mercedes Mone get countered by Saphire Reed counter Mercedes Mone. It was a nice back and forth that they had, and I do think that maybe this could have gone on a little bit longer. I feel like there was a little bit more left in the tank, so whether they're leaving that to an eventual match down the line, but the ending was really, really cool. You had Saphire Reed hit a great sort of diving headbutt from the second rope on Mercedes Mone, and then she goes up to the other turnbuckle, looks like she's going to hit it again, which is when Mercedes Mone catches her in the underhooks, hits the Monet maker for the 1, 2, 3, and picks up the win. I thought this was a really fun match. I thought it was a really fun main event, and it was great seeing Mercedes Mone live. She's so cool. She was like going around the outside as well when everyone had finished. She's so cool. She's obviously the GOAT. She is the GOAT. But then you had the angle afterwards. You had the Cutthroat Collective come down and they start beating down Mercedes Mone. Then Kanji comes down and makes the save, and Kanji, Mercedes stand tall in the ring as Saphire Reed is sort of in the middle, and then you have the three members of the Cutthroat Collective, Nina Samuels, Lizzie Evo, and Mercedes Blaze, sort of standing far back. That to me seems like a 6-man tag player. There's 2 nights of the anniversary show, so I think you could potentially get Saphire Reed, Kanji, and Mercedes taking on Cutthroat Collective. I think that would be a really interesting direction to go. And that capped off the show. You got a few more angles on this show than I was expecting, and I was really here for that because I thought it was just going to be a night of great wrestling, but it wasn't. There was a lot more story and a lot more character sort of stuff in here as well. Overall, I do think the first half of the show was better than the second half in terms of sort of matches, but sort of aura, the second half of the show was better than the first, if that makes sense. There's a lot of different things to go into, but overall, I had an absolute blast at RevPro Summer Sizzler. Overall, I'd give it 4 out of 5. Yeah, let's go 4 out of 5. And I want to know what you guys think. Were you there? Did you watch it live? Let me know and I'll try to apply it to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.